You right, guys, it's Emily Lucy here, and welcome to episode 18 of the Narnia Life series. Now, there hasn't really been much news, but, apologies for the camera being so shaky. I'm recording on a new phone, so this is kind of odd. But yeah, apologies for that. But yeah, there hasn't been really much news. But this is a video that I've been meaning to do, so I thought I might as well do it. So this is going to be my top 5 do's and don'ts for the Silver Chair film. So it's basically, it's my own opinion. If you disagree with it, that's fine. Comment down below what your guys' opinions are, what you want to happen, what you don't want to happen. So these, I'm just going to go over them quick because I don't want the video to be too long. Okay, so these are my top 5 do's for the Silver Chair film. So the first one is I want it to focus on Jill learning to trust. Don't just focus it purely on Eustace. Yes, Eustace is, of course, the main character alongside Jill. We know Eustace from the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. But in the Silver Chair, there is a big plot point of, Jill learning to trust Aslan, Eustace, learning to trust the signs. So I think that, they need to have the element in the movie. I don't want it like a throwaway moment. I don't want it underdeveloped. Like in Voyage of the Dawn Treader, the whole thing with Caspian and his father, and that were mentioned once or twice, wasn't even developed. I don't want that to be the same as this. I want it to be consistent throughout the story. So that's the first one. Number 2 is I want them to stick to the book material or the source material as close as they can. Yes, I know with any book to film adaptation, there's obviously going to be scenes that, it works fine in a book, but in a movie, it might not work. So they might have to either alter it or take it out or change it slightly. Yeah, obviously I understand why they do that with book to films. No book to film adaptation is perfect. Like I said, certain things work in a book, but they might not work in a movie. Because a book, you're reading it, you can sort of picture for yourself, whilst you read it. But a film, you're visually seeing it. So obviously it plays different. But as long as they stick to the source material, they don't stray too much away from it, I think fans will be happy. Point number 3 is the score. I want it to sound as magical as the score from the first film. I remember watching The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe during the train scene, during the opening and extended sort of scene at the beginning, where the premises are on the train, and I remember hearing the music. The music is just magical. I really hope the score is as good as the first film. Number 4, talking about opening credits, I do want the Silver Chair to have very similar opening credits to Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and Prince Caspian. Voyage of the Dawn Treader, we had 2 names mentioned and then that was it. The title came up and that was it. We didn't have no extending opening credits. Lion, the Witch and Wardrobe, we had when they were on the train. In Prince Caspian, it was obviously Caspian on the horse fleeing. So I'm hoping they do an opening credit sort of similar to that. And number 5 is I want the focus to be on the drama, not on the action. For example, I want the audience to think, is Caspian going to die without an heir? Jill, Eustace, all of them having to trust Aslan's signs. Will Caspian reunite with William before he dies? I want it to focus on that. I don't want it to focus on just the big action scenes and that's it. I want it to focus more on the drama than the action. So they were my top 5 do's. Now, my next 5 are my top 5 don'ts, so stuff that I 100% don't want to see, and I think majority of fans will agree with me on this. So the first one is Puddleglum. I don't want him to be a depressed character. Yes, he does think negatively about various things. For example, I think in the books he says, we could light a fire, but what about if it rains? Rain will put it out, smoke might get in our eyes. He does sort of think of the negative effects and negative sort of things to do with something. But he's not. That doesn't mean that he's a full-on depressed character, because he's not. So don't make Puddleglum just fully fully miserable, because that's not what he is. So the second one is, don't compare the Lady of the Green Coat to the White Witch. Don't have any comparison scene with them. Obviously it's a big debate among Narnia fans. In the Silverchair book, I mean, there is, I can't remember who says it, but there is something that says that the Lady of the Green Kirtle and the White Witch are like the same evil. And fans basically thought that meant, are they possibly the same person? But then when the BBC adaptation of the Silverchair came out, they ended up casting the same actress to play the White Witch and the Lady of the Green Kirtle, which then added just more confusion onto it. I don't want them to compare, like, having that line from the book is fine, but I don't want them to say, that, it's like the same person, because it's not. They're two different people, they're not connected, they're not related. I don't want them to get the same actress. I don't want them to get Tilda Swinton as Lady of the Green Kirtle, because that will just mess everything up. So the third one, I don't want them to ship Jill and Eustace. That's one thing I'm kind of worried about. They're friends, not lovers. Romance just does not belong in Narnia. Now, obviously when Prince Caspian came out, there was the April Fool's joke that, Caspian and Susan were going to get together. Everybody thought it was completely ridiculous, and then it ended up happening. Don't, for the love of God, anyone from Narnia Web, don't post an April Fool's joke about Jill and Eustace together, because it'll end up happening knowing our luck. But yeah, despite my channel name, I don't want them to ship Jill and Eustace. It's just, you can have a boy and girl that's friends, they don't have to be together. I don't want there to be a subplot where Jill fancies Eustace. It's just, that doesn't belong in Narnia. Romance doesn't belong in Narnia. The only actual romance I actually picture in Narnia is Caspian and Lily Andal, because they're like, I think that's literally the only romance. Susan and Caspian I don't count, because that was for the movie only. But yeah, romance just isn't a big part of Narnia. It doesn't have to be, compared to other franchises. I don't want them to ship Jill and Eustace. It's just, it wouldn't be right. So anyway, moving on. Number 4, so I don't want the story all about saving Narnia and saving the world. I want it to focus more on the characters' journey and their adventure that they go on. That's where Voyage of the Dawn Treader kind of lost it. It focused too much on saving Narnia from the green mist and the sea serpent and, the green mist devouring everybody. It focused too heavily on that, and it wasn't about finding the Seven Lords, their adventure, their journey, what they were going to find, reaching Aslan's country. They were kind of all shoved to one side, and it was all about the green mist and defeating the sea serpent. And I don't want it to be like that. Focus on the character's journey, focus on the adventure. I don't want there to be any big epic fight scenes that we don't need. Yeah, obviously there is somewhat of a fight scene at the end, but, don't make it like all too big and epic and, over the top, and, because it doesn't have to be like that. And I don't want any big fight scenes really along the way, unless we can help, unless, it can be helped. And my last point is sort of similar to number 4, but I don't want the film to be too epic looking. I want it to be, try and make it unique. Don't make it, sort of big over the top like Lord of the Rings, all these big, long, epic shots. Yeah, the shots might look absolutely stunning, but it's going to look too much like Lord of the Rings, and we don't really want that. So yeah, that's pretty much my 5 do's and don'ts for the Silverchair film. Now, I do apologise, I should have mentioned at the start of this video, I have got a cold, so that's why my voice is a bit cracky and it's breaking a little bit. Not to mention my cat brought in a bee like 10 minutes before this video, so I'm a bit paranoid in case it might still be in the house somewhere. But anyway, I'm gonna make that do for today. So yeah, obviously if you want to comment your do's and don'ts in the comments below. Let me know what you think, if you agree, disagree with my picks. If you agree, disagree, whichever, I'm fine with it. So yeah, basically that's all for today. So if you want to like, if you want to subscribe. From this recording, I am 2 subscribers away from 350. Never thought I'd reach 350 subscribers, so it's been amazing to actually get there. Hopefully, 2 more people, but I've got some stuff planned. Obviously I'm doing stuff for the Psychonumpty channel as well, so once there's news, I'll obviously do a news update. You'll know when there's news, because I will do a video. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and for everything.